Hello there, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and this is my review for Star Trek Discovery, Season 4, Episode 3, Choose to Live. Spoiler warnings, of course, if you have not seen up through Season 4, Episode 3 of Star Trek Discovery. So this week I am recording my review. Sorry, I'm just swatting a fly. I'm not waving or anything. This week I am recording my review live, so I can't edit out things such as me swatting at a fly and stuff like that. And oh, hello, Norman, in the chat. So one thing that I'm going to do for this live stream, since I'm recording this live, is that when people do pop up in the chat, like Norman has, I'm actually going to save my responses for the end so that it makes for good viewing for people who are watching this in the archives. I think it's less interesting if people are watching this later on to see me just kind of chatting with people who aren't live anymore. So I want to get through my review all the way through things that I wanted to say, and then I will chat with people in the chat. But before I do that, I will say real quick, Norman, you said Tilly should not have been on this mission, and yes, that it is one of the things I was going to talk about in my review. I totally agree with you. 100%. And I'll talk about why some of the reasons why I think they did that, and it's not good. So anyways, I am going to start my review, and then as I said at the end, I will chat with you guys who are on the live chat. Joining me live, and then people who are watching in the archives can maybe check out at that point. So I want to start with an overview, and definitely my least favorite episode so far, but it's not unexpected. It's not to the point yet where I say, well, they just ruined the whole season and all the momentum that they started in the first two episodes is lost and all of that. I don't think that. I think that it was a typical kind of low after a little bit of a high. It's a typical episodic episode during a serialized story. I know we still got the underlying serialized story in it as the B or C plot, but the A plot was an episodic plot. Having nothing to do with the serialized plot. And just as Star Trek Discovery in the past, and even going back in Deep Space Nine, when they had their serialized plot, anytime they kind of take a break from the serialized plot, it can be hit or miss. It can be good, but oftentimes this is not good. Sometimes they do some lame ass episode. And in this case, I would say it was a lame ass episode insofar as the A plot. I actually really liked, I don't know which one you want to call the B plot and which one you want to call the C plot, but the book plot, I really did like, Book and Stamets and all that. The other one with Adira was okay. I really didn't hate it or love it. But the A plot was, not amazing. So let me start there with my review. I'll start with the A plot. And the reason why I say it's not amazing is, I'm used to the whole, what do they call the Kawat? I always say it wrong. The Kawat, the Kawat Malat. I should have practiced this. I always say it wrong. I'm used to that whole thing. I thought it was a little weird at first that Michael Burnham's mom was in it, but now I'm just like, whatever, that's fine. I accept that. So I had no huge problem with that. Where I had the biggest problem with this plot is that the beginning of it and the ending do not match. The tone are very, very different. The way that the story is treated at the end does not match the way it was set up in the beginning. So the dude was murdered in cold blood, and that is not how it's treated at the end. I think that they are just way too nice to this person, and this person ends up being way too nice. It just doesn't fit. So I was thinking about, like, the question I was asking myself is, what if they had done the plot to where there wasn't a murder, to where that woman just knocked the Starfleet officer out with the butt of her sword, knocked him out unconscious, took the dilithium, stole the dilithium from Starfleet, and ran away. Could we still have had the episode? Could we still have had Starfleet and the Navarans getting together and saying, hey, we've got this problem. This group of Malat has stolen some dilithium from Starfleet. We need to do something about this. Would that still have worked? And I say yes, it would have worked just fine that way. And if they had done it that way, then the tone of the beginning matches the tone of the ending. The ending did not match the setup that a murder had happened. But if it had just been, okay, they went in and knocked some guys out and stole the dilithium from Starfleet, then I think that matches up. Stealing dilithium isn't great either, but it's not murder. Like, I just feel like it wasn't given the weight, murder was not given the weight it deserves. So it would have made more sense if all they did was steal the dilithium. Now, if they did it that way, if the writers did it that way, then you lose your cool little catchphrase, choose to live, and you lose the title of the episode, which is choose to live. And I say, fuck the catchphrase. Who cares about that? So it tells me that whole murder plot was a contrived way of having that catchphrase, choose to live. But it just made no sense for the way they ended it. And I'm not just talking about the fact that she ends up being turned over to the Navarans. And Michael Burnham was a little bit upset about that. That makes sense to me because that's a very good political move for the president, President Rillick. I'm getting to see that President Rillick is a very good politician. I mean, she wants to have good relations with the Navarans. So, of course, she's going to turn this prisoner over to them. Of course she is. So, and she may not, I think Michael Burnham was concerned she may not get punished as a murderer with them, whatever. That I don't have a problem with. It's the stuff before that. It's the way that Michael Burnham and her mom treated her. It's the way, like, she is portrayed on screen herself. It just did not match the setup in the beginning of the episode. Whereas if all she had done is steal some dilithium, then it would have fit. It would have made sense. But they made it a murder so they could have this cool catchphrase and a cool title, which has been, a phrase that, of course, they have said before in Picard, and probably they said it last season when they had to call out Malat and that as well. The choose to live thing. That was the whole reason that the plot was done that way, and that's stupid. that sucks. So that is mainly why I really did not like that plot. But secondarily, I will agree with what Norman said in the chat earlier, is that Tilly should not have been on that mission. Saru did a really amazing job giving great advice to Burnham in last week's episode. This week, there was pretty shitty advice. Saru, that made absolutely no sense for Tilly to go on a mission when you needed a tactical officer, and it was proven when Tilly just got her ass kicked as soon as there was a fight. She was lucky that she had the plot armor, so she wasn't the one who was killed. It was, the person who has just been introduced in this episode, that Romulan woman who was just introduced. She gets killed because she's essentially what boils down to a red shirt, even though she's not in Starfleet, and Tilly has the plot armor. But Tilly, for all intents and purposes, should have been killed because she sucked and she should not have been there. It made no sense for her to go there. And the reason why I think that she did go there is because the writers seem to be struggling with what to do with her. So Adira has now kind of taken her place, not only as the nervous ensign, as I mentioned last week, but also as the person who works with Stamets very closely. That used to be Tilly. Now it's Adira. So Tilly doesn't have a place in this show anymore. So Tilly's whole journey of things are off, I'm not sure what to do with myself, and all that stuff that she's going through and talking to Dr. Culber, it's a very meta thing, because it's also like the writers not knowing what to do with her. But I'm hoping, because they incorporated that into the story, that she doesn't know what to do with herself, that's the writers building towards something, and I hope they're building towards something that actually makes sense, and not Tilly being first officer, not Tilly being a tactical officer, but that she can find her new place in this crew and her new place in the show in a way that makes sense. So we can only hope that that's where this is heading, but it really does feel like the writers just don't have any idea what to do with Tilly right now. So in order to have her on screen, they send her on a mission she has no business being on. And it shows. Like, she just gets her ass kicked. So what is the deal with that? So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Let me touch a little bit on the other plots, which I did like better. I'll go into the plot with Adira and Gray, and this was expected. We knew it was coming. I'll be honest, I mean, while it was really, touching at the end to see Gray have a body again and to give a hug to Adira and Dr. Colbert, that was all very nice. But I also felt like kind of nothing was happening. It was just like, oh, the spirit will take a while for it to find the body, and we don't see anything. We just see Gray's body laying there, so it just looks like nothing is happening. It just seemed like a way to kind of build tension. And as I said earlier, it's not, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't love it either. It just seemed like a necessary thing that they had to do because they set up for it. And we knew this was going to happen. So and you had to have it on screen. And there wasn't really an interesting way to have it on screen. So they just had to do it this way. And I understand that. So it's fine. I am now waiting for what the tension is going to be, what the problem is going to be. There's going to be some sort of problem between Gray and Adira, and Gray may end up, I predict, leaving and going back to Trill and not being in the show anymore or something like that. I think there's going to be some sort of tension. So that's what I'm really waiting for. There's going to be some sort of tension in the plot. So what I saw was just kind of, I saw it as just sort of a necessary thing they had to do. And I don't know how they could have made it more interesting. I can't think of anything, but I'm not a writer. But it was just like kind of a lot of nothing. But yeah, it did build up to a very nice emotional scene at the end when Gray does get in the body. I did enjoy that. So that was nice. So let me get into the other plot, which is definitely my favorite plot. So Stamets is trying to figure out. He has decided that this has to be a primordial wormhole, except that it doesn't have tachyons. Now that is just that I don't know what that means. That's just technobabble to me. But I didn't really focus on that. All you need to take away from this is that Stamets almost has this problem solved, but he needs to prove this one thing in order for his theory to work. There's just one missing piece, and he needs to prove it. And so that's his mission in this episode. And I do like that they kept alive the serialized plot with this anomaly, even though it wasn't the main plot. I do like that it existed, and I liked all of Stamets' interactions with the Vulcans. He was just like, what, you're just gonna go to take nappy time now? It's like, we're meditating. He was like, what? That was pretty cool. And I really loved Book's interactions with Stamets for the second week in a row. And I love Book's storyline because I mentioned last week that after last week's episode, I did not want to see Book just be, yay, everything's okay, as Star Trek has been wont to do before. Chief O'Brien, Joey LaForge, excuse me. The mind's eye. Okay, so yeah, Star Trek has been known to do that before, where everything is just hunky-dory. I didn't think they were going to do it in this case. And they did not. Also, he didn't need to be moping around as much as he was last week either. He made some progress, but there was still progress to be made. And he does make even more progress. And I still don't think, everything shouldn't be all hunky-dory and wonderful next week either. But he has made some progress. He came to kind of a nice realization, and seeing that just something very simple and beautiful as his nephew turning around and noticing him. That was sweet. I like that. And I really love what they're doing with Book this season, which makes me think they're going to kill him off. But yeah, I really enjoyed that that subplot. So that was good. So we got one plot I didn't like, one plot I neither liked nor hated, and another plot I really did like. So overall, I wasn't expecting every episode to be really good, so it's fine. It's the nature of all Star Trek series, if we're being perfectly honest. This is not unique to Discovery. I'm rewatching Voyager, rather, and God, there's a lot of bad episodes all throughout it. And Next Generation, there's a bad episode. Deep Space Nine, there's a bad episode. So, and this one wasn't bad overall. Just the A-plot was not that great. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up with a rating, and then I'll just check the chat and see what people have been saying, see if there's anything I need to respond to. And then people who are watching this in the archives later on, if you don't want to see me talk to the people in the chat, you can get out of here. But I want to give a rating out of 10. 1 is the lowest possible score. 10 is the highest possible score. I've been stuck between a 6 and a 7, so it gets a 6.5. Giving it a 6.5. It's just that A-plot was just not good enough to justify a 7, but a 6 seems harsh. So anytime I'm split between two scores, I split the difference. 6.5 is my rating. Definitely way lower than the previous two episodes, but that's fine. I don't think that the entire season has been ruined by this one episode. I think it's very easy to bounce back by what they do with the serialized storyline that they are working on. Let me check in with the chat. I just noticed Mark saying, did I actually like an episode of Discovery more than you? What is the world coming to? If you liked it more than a 6.5, then yeah, I guess you did. And I didn't hate it. I just want to be clear. And if you didn't see my whole review, that's Mark, my brother, who is saying that in the chat. Yeah, I just want to be clear. I didn't hate the episode. I just, that A-plot was just not great. Yeah, an 8. Wow, Mark. So in the chat, Mark said he gave it an 8. Well, pretty good. Well, yeah, I think I gave the other two episodes an 8, if I recall correctly. I don't remember. But yeah, this one to me was definitely not as good. But that is okay. Let me go back up in the chat and see what else I missed before I get out of here. You can comment later, but I think Adira Gray Hugh should have just gone to Shrill, where some of the direct facilities and pools, etc., are available. Yeah, but they can't. Then they'd have to leave Discovery and have to be this whole thing, and they wouldn't be able to get to hang out in that fancy ass bar with a fireplace. What the hell is that? There's a bar on Discovery with a fireplace, or like a fake fireplace, a holographic fireplace probably, and like weird ass futuristic dartboard. What was that? Tell me about it. She could have stunned him or knocked him out. And I assume this is Norman Buckwald in the chat. I assume you were referring to what I was talking about earlier when that chick murdered the dude. Why? It was a plot contrivance so that they can have their little catchphrase as the title of the episode. But it just did not match up with the ending. Brandon isn't here. Sorry, I have not watched it. Good to see you, though. It has dropped in my country. See you soon. So Brandon, I don't know if you're still around, but if you end up watching this later, thanks for dropping in. Sorry I didn't get to say hi to you while you were in here. And then let's see. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I actually will be back in a few hours, hopefully. I need to do my review for The Wheel of Time, episode 5. I'm not going to have any time to do it tomorrow. I don't really have any time to do a pre-recorded version of it. That's why I'm doing all these live streams this week. I just don't have time to do all my pre-recorded reviews. So I don't know what time. I still need to eat dinner and then watch that episode. And then so later tonight, I will do my live stream for the Wheel of Time. And then this weekend, I do have a time. I'm doing a live stream at 4 o'clock p.m. West Coast time, 7 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. I'll actually put the link up really soon so you guys can see it and you can see what time it is in your local time. On my calendar video, I called it my trans life video, but I don't know. I'll do a little bit talking about my transgender life and update on that and how I'm doing. But it's mostly going to be a free form, like whatever. So if you guys want to show up, I also have other random topics that I want to just touch on that I haven't been able to talk about in other videos. Like I have to talk about something Grateful Dead related, the new Grateful Dead movie, Martin Scorsese movie I want to talk about. I want to talk about show that Mark recommended, Dope Sick, which I'm not going to have time to do a review for, but I do want to talk about it. It was good, Mark, by the way. Really liked it. So I want to talk about that and just some other random things. So if you guys want to join me in the chat, ask me questions either about myself or about shows or about anything, it'll be kind of a free-for-all. So that's going to be on Saturday, December 4th at 4 p.m. West Coast time, 7 p.m. East Coast time. And I will get the link up on my channel very shortly so that you can see that. All right, everybody. I will see you later tonight. If you're watching this live for my Wheel of Time review, and if you're watching this in the archives, please check out everything else on my channel. Subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.